Hey, Todd Burrier from toddburrier.com, and today I want to talk about the 5 things that position you to lead. Now remember that in our work, people are volunteers, right? You don't have authority over the people that are joining your team or that you're sponsoring. Your title does not entitle you to have them do what you say. Really, the size of your check doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, do people want to follow you? And that's what you have to develop. Now, I wrote my book, Leading with Heart. If you haven't seen this book, make sure you check it out. It'll really help you. And what I'm going to share with you today comes from one of the little chapters. And it's really the beginning part of the journey in cultivating your leadership, because the moment you sponsor someone, they have the right to do whatever they want. And you might not think about it that way, but that's the truth. And so you have to cultivate and develop the relationship such that this person really wants to follow you, because then you have true leadership anyway. Any leadership that's based purely on authority is not true leadership from the perspective of the followers, right? They're just simply doing what they have to do until they can figure out another thing that they're going to go do. I mean, that's kind of what happens. So you can't force them to do anything. You have to earn the credibility. You have to earn the right to lead them. And there's 5 things that you can do that are the key in getting into that position. Okay, so I'm going to give you these 5 and give you a little insight. Again, get the book. It'll really help you. But the first is, you got to be effective yourself in the core competencies. Now, what are the core competencies of our work? They're making contacts, right? Making approaches for products and for business, or for service and for business, right? Whatever you're actually marketing and your opportunity. Each one of those is a separate core competency. The reason I say that is because you could utilize either one as the platform for how you build your business and successfully build a business. So they're 2 separate things. Some people are very comfortable doing one and not the other, right? So it's pretty common. And then the next set of core competencies are actually presenting each one, right? So the ability to present, which isn't any harder than telling a story based on how I teach, but that isn't always how people see it. But the ability to present your opportunity and the ability to present your products and or service, those are 2 separate competencies. Some people, again, they're terrific at presenting one or the other, but not both. And then following up is a competency. Actually, it's a huge core competency, and one that a lot of people struggle with, right? They don't track properly. They don't, they struggle with the timing. Again, all the stuff that I teach, but I'm just giving you the insight as to how to do this, as to what matters in the learning. Over time in leadership, you need to be highly proficient in all of them and in all different ways to really, truly lead on the broadest spectrum possible, because you're going to have all kinds of different flavors of people that you're going to be leading. And so you also have a training. Getting someone started in training is a core competency, and customer service. So those are the 7 what I call core competencies in the business. You have to be effective in them. Do you have to master them? No, not yet. You don't have to master them. You just have to be, and I heard it said, this is a really good way to put it, you have to be 1 step ahead of them, especially early, right? In other words, you got to be just a little bit better. You got to have read the chapter a little bit further, right? And which normally would be the case, especially early in your work, because you've already engaged, and this is a new person who they don't know anything about the business. So second is, you have to know your company and be a resource. Now, it doesn't mean you have to know it all, especially if you're in health and wellness. Do you need to know every ingredient in your product? Absolutely not. Do you need to have every answer about everything? Absolutely not. Right? That is a waste of time. You're not, for the most part, again, I'm going to use health and wellness because it's a really great example. You're not an expert. Right? You're not an expert. As a matter of fact, even if you are an expert, from the perspective of duplication, I would downplay your expertise. But you're not required to be an expert about your products and service. You just need to know what the benefit is of those products and service, right? From usage, and you need to know where that information exists. That's the key thing, right? It's the Henry Ford concept. His mentality was, he built a huge car company and didn't know much about cars. And his attitude was, why do I need to know about cars? I have people who know about cars, right? So I can get the information. That's what you need to be, is a resource. So when someone says, how do I da-da-da, you can say, oh, right over here is where you can get that information. And then, so now they trust you to guide them properly. Third thing is you've got to demonstrate integrity and authenticity, not perfection. Perfection is not integrity, because there is no one who's perfect. So if you're pretending to be perfect, you're not operating in integrity, and they will see through that, right? One of the biggest mistakes a lot of leaders make is they think people can't see their weaknesses. Yes, they can. Anything that is hidden will be revealed. If you have a weakness, it's going to show up, especially in leadership, because over time, your leadership is going to get tested. And so then your weaknesses are going to be readily visible. So operating with integrity and authenticity is what matters. I like to get as far as transparency. For me, people know exactly who I am. I don't profess to be anything other than who I am. As someone who's had all kinds of struggles in my life, and I'm a regular guy who has worked hard, and so I don't pretend to be Superman. I just am who I am, and that's who you have to be. You have to be yourself so that people can trust who you are. The fourth one is to be responsive and available. Now, I'm not telling you that you need to be answering your phone at midnight. Some people think that's what that represents. I would submit to you that long run, that's setting a poor example of the right kind of lifestyle. But you need to be responsive, and you can decide what that is. My mentality is I pretty much respond rapidly to people, and definitely within the same day. That's unless it's later or I'm off or whatever, that's different. But you got to be responsive and available so they can trust that you're going to be there. They can count on you. And the fifth one is you got to set an example. You need to be using the products and services, many as are possible for you to use, and they need to be visible for your team. You need to treat people properly, and you need to demonstrate the proper work ethic. Those three things are how you set a proper example for your team. I can go further because the example piece is a big topic. Actually, I speak about it again in the book. Again, if you haven't gotten a copy of Leading with Heart, it's just an incredible book. It will really, really help you. So you can find it at toddburrier.com. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Balance Tools in Europe. Anyway, so I hope that's helpful for you. It's those 5 things, just those 5. You don't have to worry about anything else. You do those 5 and build on that, and you will build a significant following of the people in your team who are like, man, I really trust this person. I'm glad that they are the leader in my group. So I hope that's helpful. If you have not yet joined the blog or gotten the 27 scripts that will really help you sponsor consistently. Take it from a guy who did it for years, who went from being an introvert to a master recruiter. Make sure you put in your email at toddburrier.com and get your free audio download. It will really help you. It will absolutely help you, and will help any of your team become really, really effective in sponsoring. So feel free to share this message, and I'll see you next time.